best estimation as far as that goes. I will start off by saying I hired the wrong engineer. That took a lot of time. I apologize for that. We now have the right engineer who put in, the engineering went in on Monday?
Friday or Monday?
Monday, from the same ones who Weyerhaeuser used, Newcastle Engineering, a full report. The district, I just came from the district, and that's why I'm late, sorry. They have it, it is over at Coors Engineering as well, so they told me that that will be about 2 to 3 weeks for that review process to happen. Typically that will come back with comments. LOCAR is going to start before it's approved. So they're gonna start early. I think they're crazy, but they wanna do it. So you should see things on site happening as of tomorrow. If you don't see anything on site happening, please tell Judy. Judy will tell me, or sorry, maybe one
But
person.
they've already done a ton of work.
Yeah, oh yeah, so we've now built the project up to tsunami height, which was a big task, that's why a lot of the engineering also had to change, and that's why we couldn't have done it a year ago, as Bruce had mentioned in the past council meeting, because we had to change the engineering due to the new tsunami height. So that is a big thing, we used the same engineer who did our coastal tsunami report to do the engineering for the civil work. Obviously, he's better at coastal and civil, than he is in civil, and that's why it took so long for us to do that. So now we have everybody working in conjunction. So again, I am sorry it's taken so long. Every day that goes by is more interest I pay on everything as well. I'm not happy with it. We share that. And I can tell you that we're, with LOCARs on site, they're gonna be putting pipe in the ground as early as this week. And then we will, then we start figuring out some more firm timelines as far as they go, because they don't see any issues. But speaking with them, they're gonna be 2 months, and then give them an extra month for if something goes. So 2-3 months for finishing all their work. And then I just talked to the city building inspector, who says she's 6 to 8 weeks for plan reviews. Now that is for all 33. She says that's what I want, so, but once she does one, she's gonna do, it's gonna happen a lot quicker. So that 6 to 8 week time, we have our foundation crew ready to start foundations. They're coming up from Parksville, that's all they do. They're not builders who do foundations, they are foundation people who do foundations. So they're coming up from Parksville, they're gonna do all 22 of your guys' homes first, the rentals will come after. We're not worried about the rentals, we wanna get you guys in homes, that's important. So for ease of crane work, we'd like to start at the ends and work our way to the middle. So anyone 1 through 6 or 31 through 33, kind of our way there, that's what the crane operators would like to see. And that will happen, kind of right away, so right after the foundations are done. So again, sorry for the timing, happy to answer you guys' questions. If it's on timing on individual units, maybe just come see me after we have this general discussion, and we can work it backwards as far as things go.
So Andrew, so I had a chat with LOCAR,
Yes.
with the supervisor, and he said, as soon as they're given the green light to go, it'll be 2 months and they should have all the services in. And Andrew, you told me that it's about 4 foundations at a time?
So they're gonna come up and do 8
now?
foundations, and
Yeah.
then but we have to wait for permits to be done before that.
And the permits, do we know yet if they'll start issuing permits
They will not.
before the registration of the subdivision, or do they have to wait for the registration of the subdivision?
They have to wait for the registration of the subdivision in order to issue permits from 33. So there's certain geotechnical requirements that we need to have on all of them. So we unfortunately can do a lot of the work so that the permits are ready. We can do our part of the permit beforehand, which is what we have our geotechnical engineers doing, but we can't submit them until we have 33 individual lots. So again, we're only gonna be submitting the 22 purchases. We're not gonna worry about the rentals until after the purchases are while you guys are housed.
The surprise of the tsunami buildup,
Right.
which wasn't expected,
No.
how long do you think that set us back? About a year?
Well, the tsunami Yeah, I mean, from when it was voted in, for all new subdivisions that have the new tsunami code, that was old council, I think part of old council, and yeah, so that set us back a good amount of time. What you're seeing now is a subdivision that is now built up to about 15 meters above sea level. It takes time to get all that rock together, and compacted and tested and compacted and tested every so many lifts. So every time that there's another meter of fill, you had to bring an engineer out to basically stamp it and say this is good. That stuff takes time. I know it looks like there's not things happening at times, because there is not things happening, but there's reporting happening at times. So the tsunami part, yeah, that set us back a good year and a bit from conception. I've been working on this for 6 years. So this is in 2019, I think we wrote our first offer on the site. So it's been six years of this for us. So.
Yeah, and it's you know, I've been speaking with other municipalities and whatnot, and the 6 years to get a project, that's an affordable housing project, approved and through. I mean, when we went to market with you folks, we thought we were less than a year out.
Yeah.
And obviously there's been stuff that's happened along the way that was not all Andrew's fault. And, you know, it's shared responsibility between, I think, the municipality and the developer. And, you know, it's been stressful for everybody, and we get that. And it's been as stressful for you guys as it
Sure.
has for us. Was, you know, like, we're getting it from 22 angles. So it's been a little harsh.
Yeah.
And then, but now all the homes are ordered.
All the homes are ordered, yeah, I believe everyone, except for there's one we're waiting on extras to be paid, I think.
Yeah, one, yeah.
Besides that, all the colors have been chosen, they're ready to go. Part of my meeting today was to make sure that now we can schedule the units, so the meeting with the district went really well. We can now start scheduling the units to be manufactured. So when I go home tomorrow, this is my first email is over to AMCO Homes to say, you can start scheduling these first few. And then we'll be able to have a timeline on when they'll actually be built and delivered. So,
Sounded like the first one's probably be June.
that's the hope is June, yeah,
Yeah.
they'll definitely be done in June.
And
yeah.
my conversations with AMCO is probably the last one will be August.
Yep,
So
and they're talking rentals at that point too.
well, that's including the
That's
rentals.
including the rentals, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we're before
Yeah.
that with the 22.
It's been one of those things that we, you know, like, I even, you know, I had my first child in October, and I was kind of liking the break in October anyway, and I was telling my dad on the way out, once this starts rolling, it just rolls really, really quickly. Like, it just like, you know, Locar's gonna have 4 or 5 guys on site, they're gonna pump that out really quickly. Being an affordable housing site, everyone is understandable of that. And putting this at the front. So even the district's engineers have now said 2-3 weeks, when normally their engineering department is about 6 to 8 weeks. So they're putting this at the front for everybody.
Yeah, and I talked to Marilyn yesterday, and she has her meetings, it's right, Tuesday morning, Sean, she has her meetings. And I talked to her yesterday, and after her meeting, she got back to me and she said that Dwayne was, the CAO was hoping that they would have it back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, good, yeah. Yeah, the last time they had it was 6 weeks for a review. But again, it wasn't the full package that they now have. And again, that was on me for the delay on the other engineer, so. Yeah, besides that, that's my little story, and yeah, questions are great.
Just a quick question with regards to the June, August, is that they're gonna be on site, ready to go?
If you work out the Locar's timing, that they say they're 2 months, final approval for subdivision and MOT takes about a month, warehouse, just went through that.
Yeah.
And then building permits take another month, so yeah, you're looking July, August for sure.
For them to be built,
Delivered,
delivered.
yeah. So once a home is delivered and put on the foundation, they're actually put on, and then we do need to come around and put the belly band on the bottom part of it. There's a little bit of work we're gonna do. There's no stairs in these now, so, because you've seen the site is nice and tall and level, so they'll be walkout level. So, and then also we have to coordinate with, so you might move in without a washer and dryer, but the washer and dryer are coming. I apologize for that, because they wanna do them in they can't do one at a time, you know, so they're gonna do 10 at a time, kind of thing. So, our hope is that, you know, 4 units get craned on at one time as well, because every time the crane comes up, we pay for crane to come up. So we wanna make sure that there's 4 units available to be craned on foundations. Sorry, I'm kind of facing how I'm talking.
I've got an ask.
Yeah.
So, since the timing is a little bit later, we're probably gonna need another addendum to extend.
I would expect so.
So we will,
Could we please have
yeah,
like 10 business days or something to sign that addendum so that they can get reviewed and stuff? Like just a little more time than, you know, this needs to be signed in the next couple of
oh,
days.
sure. I think the reason was the last one. So the reason that we need an addendum signed or anything is because the disclosure statement has a date in it. So it'll be a disclosure statement amendment to push the dates back.
Just
You-
time to do it.
Sure, yeah, no, we're fine with that, yeah.
Thanks.
You just said they're gonna be walkout now,
Correct.
isn't there gonna be the crawl space that was,
We dig them down and build them,
Okay.
fill around them.
okay,
Yeah, it's part of the, it's again, another cost, but it's also, the subdivision looks a lot better. And because what you will also see is we're gonna be coming in front of council for our front porch variance. So the front porches can go into the setback a little bit, because some go into a little bit.
so there's gonna be a hatch from inside then instead of outside to access the?
Crawl space access will be at the backs of the units.
Okay.
You'll just build a little well,
Okay.
yeah. We've done wells before on them, so. Yeah.
Is the appliances, the stoves, are they flat tops or are they coiled?
You would have to talk to Amco about those ones, yeah, I know.
Because I like the coil there.
I would assume it's coil, yeah, but you'd have to talk to them about that. That's an easy question for me to find out, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, wait, going back to the walkout levels, there's
Yeah.
no stairs, even if we have a back door of the master, and
Sorry,
also.
I shouldn't say no stairs. There's like, your front porch,
and
how
then the
tall
front
that
porch,
is,
yeah.
is like 6 inches, so you'll have probably 1 stair out your back
And
patio.
are those getting built after the units arrive on site, or are they?
They have to be built on site, yeah. We can actually build them, yeah,
Do
because
you have a timeline for how that will be?
so when they come, they don't come as like, here's a house, turn your key and go. They come wrapped and they gotta pop the roof up a little bit as well, like so, because they can only travel so much. So that crew of Amcos also builds stairs. So before they move on to the next unit of popping up the roof and everything, it's a cool thing to watch when they come. But your stairs will be built right after that. Yeah.
And they come and do deficiencies as well, so sometimes in travel, something happens, you know, the AMCO people come and fix everything that might have gone wrong in
Yeah,
the travel.
absolutely, yeah.
Including those who have chosen drywall, that will get.
Well, they don't, and that's one thing about, yeah, my father and I have built a few modular homes, and it's, when they arrive, a drywall panel is a lot better than, drywall panel is a lot better than actual drywall, because of the amount of cracks that happen over time on these units. Hoses aren't supposed to be picked up and moved. Modular hoses are built for that, so these are actually built to withstand 140-kilometer winds, because they go 100 kilometers an hour. So they're actually better built than stick frame houses, so, yeah, so, long question about your stairs, a long answer about your stairs, yes, go upstairs.
Sorry, just to clarify, from the time that they land in Ucluelet here, what's the lay time until a person's moving in? Is it a few weeks, like to get the belly band and the hydro and everything hooked up? What is that period of time typically going to be, or?
Typically, yeah, 2-3 weeks, yeah, to get the hydro, the water, and the hydro, the water,
Sewer.
and the sewer hooked up to each unit. That's just 2 trades that we have ready to go, as well as, yeah, so that's about that. If, and again, because we're coordinating units being craned on with sheds as well, we would never stop anyone from moving in. We would just hold back, say your shed's worth $3,500, we would just hold back $3,500 I don't get till your shed arrives. Our biggest thing is moving you in as soon as possible. So, but yeah, when they come wrapped, so AMCO has to do their thing at the same time. The plumber is doing that, and they don't come with gutters, so our gutter guy is here locally in town. He'll be putting gutters on units as well.
About the, speaking of services, the TELUS situation has changed again. So Joe, our local TELUS fellow Joe installer, if you go through him, it's a better deal. And he's taking orders directly now, for people's hydro, or for people's internet and whatever TELUS services you want. And there's, I think, a $50 discount as well that goes along with that. So I can make sure everybody's Realtor has that contact information and email, so you can order directly from Buy Local.
Yeah.
So you referenced sheds.
Yes,
Is that an optional?
everyone gets a shed.
Everyone gets a shed?
Yeah,
You get
you get a shed. No, everybody gets a shed.
Are they big enough for surfboards?
The smallest ones are 6 by 9.
Okay.
Big enough for a surf. Wide, I don't surf, so, if 9 feet is big enough, then yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was part of the original plan. That being said, it's just about coordination with cranes and units. Our big thing is the unit before the shed, so it'll happen. It'll just be chaos for a little bit, you know? Yeah. And that is the other thing to warn about too, is you guys being 22 homeowners, with the rentals happening after, there'll just be some days where a home is being craned on and you'll be notified the day before, so just maybe park on Marine Drive, because they take up a lot of space. So, you imagine a road is, 30 feet wide, and a unit is 50 feet wide, then not a lot of room. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, no, sorry.
Just about the newer layouts.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, what went into having to switch the layouts from?
So seismic was one thing, the amount of fill and structural fill, so geotechnical was the other, but the new seismic requirements were a big thing. So, with brace walls and things, there's so much that we had to shrink in and flatten and, yeah. Yeah. That came from the factory, so not from,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, an improvement in some and not as well. We lost a sale over one, which is, unfortunate, but we understood.
Right.
Yeah.
And the current like tsunami height that you said,
Yeah.
it needed testing and all that kind of stuff. Have all the tests come back from what the?
So now where we're at, yeah, so I mean, as far as the fill goes, yeah, we will end up having to test more on, we'll have to do a geotechnical test on every individual lot.
Right.
That's part of our building permit. And then every time we lay so much feet of height, we have to get a geotechnical stamp on it as well. So it's gonna be a lot more testing still to happen. So the height is good.
Right.
Where we're at height-wise is good. The fill that we brought in was good.
Yeah.
That fill had to be tested. So, no, it looks a lot better now than it did a couple months ago, so, yeah.
How about the hydro? Where is that at?
Hydro is just, I just need to pay it. Yeah. They don't really, so that design is a.
Permits and stuff?
Pardon?
Permits and stuff? No?
So the Hydro doesn't, sorry, how do I explain this? Hydro approved our design, our subdivision layout, they approved our electrical design, and the district now needs to approve our street lighting design.
Right.
So, the permit is once the district signs off. Yeah, but yeah, and then they give you a huge bill and say, and they don't give you any info on it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looks like your normal hydro bill. But yeah, so that will happen now.
It's a different nightmare than food bank.
Yeah, food bank and us are a lot different. Food bank is a commercial building, we're all residential, so we run under different guidelines there. No, we have, our hydro is stubbed into site, so we just have to build the infrastructure. Yeah, we're not an infill lot like the food bank had to bring hydro across the road or something like that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, our hydro's on site already, so
Yeah.
we just have to build it.
We're gonna have to do staff though, right?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, no, it's, yeah, there's,
They're
so,
good juicing.
there's 4 transformers within our own subdivision.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is a question that I have for you guys, is do you like right now we have 7 lights, street lights in our subdivision, which Wayfind is a lot. Do you guys want to be well lit? Do you? I just have to go back to my electrical engineer and say, because they have a certain guideline where every part of road needs to be lit up. right? So that design worked out to be 7. Everywhere I'm hearing says they don't want a lot of lights, so, less is obviously better for me, and we have to do them at every intersection, so, good, I can take that note back to them and say, 22 by 6.
Yeah, because this is a fee simple subdivision and not a strata
Yeah.
subdivision, the streetlight requirement's different. If it was a strata subdivision, we could do the little short ones, but we can't.
Didn't Ocean West do something with something on the lights to,
So Ocean West has a fancy light, yeah,
yeah.
we don't have to have that.
Well, you can keep them from shining in
Yeah.
people's houses is what she's talking about.
Oh,
They
yeah,
have- They have a
there's
bib
The
on them.
deflectors or whatever.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, these ones out here, these ones like you see right out here, they're really super bright, but,
We're not doing those.
we were able to have that, when I lived down there, it was awful, and it was shining in people's places, and they turned them down. They dialed them down so they weren't quite as
Because
bright.
the yellow lights are, like, I hate those white lights on the cars. And the white lights in the streets, the yellow lights are better.
So that's one thing that as part of your engineering application to the district, street lighting is a design that we had to do. I was shocked when I saw originally 8 lights on it, now it was down to 7. So, there's a certain standard that the engineer will only sign off on that they're happy with, so, we'll make sure that it's not lit up like a sports field. Very nice.
I just wanna welcome Sean Anderson, joined us today, counselor from the District of Ucluelet, in case anybody's got any questions. Sean?
Sure.
Hello? I just have a question about the engineering. You mentioned that the previous engineers were the wrong ones.
Correct.
Can you just talk a little bit about like what exactly, was kind of the issue with them and then what, you're doing with these new engineers to
Well-
prevent what happened with them?
Well, I think with the old engineer is that he's very good at coastal and tsunami and geotechnical engineering. So like, what he's good at is like, he's also the one who's designing the foundations, right? So the foundations are, yay feet tall, they're all pinned down to bedrock, that needs a design and engineer stamp. Jim is really, really good at that. Jim did a great job for me on the tsunami, policy and tsunami review. He's only one of like 4 coastal engineers in BC. The ones who did the study here was a conflict, so that leaves you kind of with 3. Jim told me that he could do it. I don't speak engineer, so when he submits something and says, Andrew, this is a full package, the guy who's done well for me in the first one, I say, great, and then I hear that it's only, he was the wrong guy. And so now we know that, and so what we've done is we've hired the right guys. And, yeah, they got Warehouser subdivision through, and it looks really good in there, and so they also answer my questions really quickly, and they're really good. So I don't expect to see lots of comments back from the district. I assume maybe 1 round of go-around before final approval, but the package looks great right now. So,
My conversation with Newcastle Engineering, with Nathan Trowbridge, was that because they had just gone through the whole process with the Ocean West subdivision, that this being so much smaller, and they knew exactly what the district was gonna ask for and what they needed, that they were able to assemble the package pretty quickly. But they wouldn't submit it until they had 100% of everything in there, where you can submit to municipalities stages of the engineering, but the District of Ucluelet isn't very receptive to staging engineering, and so Newcastle already knew this, and so they told me that they had to wait till they had the entire package. So the last piece they were waiting for was the company that builds the lift stations for the sewer. They had to wait an extra 2 weeks for the drawings and the information from the sewer lift station builders
yeah. So,
to submit with the package.
yeah, so as you drive in on the left-hand side, because Marine Drive is a pressurized sewer system, we have to then take our gravity system, put it all into one tank, and then pump it into the pressurized system on Marine Drive. So that needs its own engineer within the engineer. So that was a mechanical engineer that had to design the pump. So that was what we were waiting for at the very end. And that was just that time, that was just you need to have the whole thing ready to send over to those guys. So, within the new engineers that we've hired, there's an electrical engineer, a mechanical engineer for the pump station, the same electrical engineer for the electronics for the pump station, and then your civil guys, which is all these guys. Now, the geotechnical is Lukowicz, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with around here. They touch every subdivision, so, and they come up here once or twice a week, and they make sure that everything is geotechnically safe.
So I guess just in previous updates, you know, throughout the last couple of years for all of those fires where, you know, maybe we were given a certain set of dates where
Sure.
things were maybe gonna be realistically done.
Yeah.
I guess that was more just kind of not, fully trusting in the engineer that you currently had and,
Yeah.
you know, assuming that whatever work they did was.
Was gonna work out. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not a cheap thing to go from one to another, and also not a great thing to go from one to another when we still, because Emerald Sea Engineering made certain assurances for tsunami flood risk, we still need to keep them involved. So you're kind of firing them on one thing and saying, hey, you're still involved here over here. So you don't get to just fire them and not pay them, you have to fire them and pay them and keep them happy because they still need to sign off on the coastal thing. So, but after 2 submittals and 2 rounds of comments, yeah, no, I mean, it would have been 2026, you know, 2027 by the time we got that done. So, yeah, again, that lands on me and just trusting the wrong people, so, yeah. When it comes to, like I said to, you know, you earlier, when it comes to timing and individual lots and individual timelines, yeah, happy to kind of work that backwards. What I hate, you know, like, well, first and foremost, I started real estate when I was 19 years old, so like Judy, I am a person who likes to make everybody happy, right? So, development as a developer, you also wanna make everybody happy, but you also have to make sure that it's right. So to tell you a certain day and then go over it, it sucks for me, you know, cause I also, you know, wanted this done a year ago. So, we'll try and just keep everything on schedule, and if you ever walk by and see nobody on site, there is a reason for that. If there is no reason for that, then let us know and we'll kind of keep you, you know, apprised of everything. But now, it's hard to also tell, I know when we wanted updates and there was nothing good to tell, it's kind of a tough email to send to you guys saying, hey, we're still waiting on our engineer who didn't do a good job, and, you know, so it's a tough one to send, so, yeah. Cost me washer and dryers. Trust me, yeah, so,
Is there a way, you know, moving forward now that the new engineering drawings are in and stuff like that, is there a way that we can set up maybe, you know, certain intervals of time where we do get updates, just even if there's not much to know, just so that we can stay involved on?
well, there should, and there should be now, because now the new engineering, and Locor is actually gonna start without engineering approval. They're gonna start building the stuff that they know, it is kind of a lock. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think our goal was monthly. If monthly works for you, but this is gonna happen really quickly, so. We can either do monthly, or we can also do major stages as well, like, you know, the services are in, we're paving next week, hydro's gonna come next week, you know, we can do that kind of thing. I always, you know, because I'm not here as well, I do rely on word of mouth. When I'm hearing nothing's happening on site, I'd like to know that as well too, so. And if you ever see 5 guys huddle around a truck, like 4 times a day, let me know. Here they take long coffee breaks. Yeah. But you know, but we're up here, at least, we're up here twice a week now. When things get rolling, either myself, I brought my dad along with me, who's got a big, you know, history of development, and he was a notary public for a lot of years, for 30 years as well. So, he's gonna kind of be my eyes when I can't be here too. So we'll have constant eyes on the project, and if nothing's happening, we'll be kind of upset about that, so.
I think just as one more comment, I think telling us the good, bad, the ugly probably would have made it a little bit easier throughout the process.
Sure, I think the ugly is that, what I'm kind of saying now is that we kind of trusted in somebody who did.
Would have been
Really?
nice just in the updates to know, so that, you know,
And I think we didn't know that we couldn't trust until
right.
January, really, when we decided to, yeah. And also Newcastle, said that they could get it out a lot quicker than they even did as well, but, like Judy said, they don't wanna put out something without it being perfect, and so, right now, we think it's a pretty nice looking package, so. We'll delete some street lights, which we're really happy to do, because it was more than what's on Marine Drive even. But yeah, we'll keep it looking quite nice. And the level walkout, we thought was a lot better than having 3 stairs up to a unit as well, so.
Less maintenance.
Yeah, and also just a nicer looking subdivision when you
Yeah.
think about just a whole kind of, because we want to stay away from the, being called a trailer park. I never like that. I think this is a great way to deliver affordable housing that's not stacked housing where, your neighbor on the fourth floor is cooking, you can smell it on the second floor. I think this is a great way to own land as well as using the AHOP program, so that you only have to come up with, less 10 to 12% is a great program as well. And that, every time we take a change off engineering, that has to go get approved from BC Housing as well. So it's hard to say, there's good, bad, ugly, but every change we have to run that up. Lots of flagpoles here. It's not like I just get to decide something and it goes, we have to go through proper channels too. And that's because BC Housing payout program, we have to make sure that we all stay in line with that. So.
There was, excuse me, in some of the new plans, there was some side windows that were deleted, and there was some concern about those deletion of those side windows. Excuse me. And my understanding is that's because of seismic and fire.
Spatial separation is fire, yeah, so that was our meeting, that we just had at the district office, that there's a certain calculation when you're 1.5 meters from a property line, that you can only have, 15%, I think that's the number, of glazing, so of windows on one side, so we just wanted to make sure, because when we press go on these units, we're building them before we have a permit, so there's no room for error on it. We can't even submit our plans until we have 33 lots as well, so there's that risk as well. So that was the meeting today, and that was one of the reasons why windows shrank on one side of the unit, got bigger on the other, was because of how close they were to property lines on one side.
I think in the new plans, we lost the bathroom window. It wouldn't be possible for us to DIY ourselves into making one, or would that go against the BC Housing code?
I don't know about insurance then, right?
Yeah.
No, there would still, that's a good question, have your realtor email that, because we're at the stage right now where we could maybe have that happen. It would just depend on.
Even if it's just small window, it's just like, we have right now to our unit, like, no windows in our bathrooms.
Right.
And the condensation is extreme, like, we have like, there's mold on the wall, there's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just helps like,
Help with the airflow.
Sure,
airflow
yeah,
and stuff
no.
like that.
But
It's
don't
just
these
like-
have HVAC, don't they?
These all have HVAC, yeah,
Yeah.
and the
So
constant airflow, and also bathroom fan, like,
Well, we have a bathroom fan as well.
Yeah, this is air, they got HVAC though, like where you live is probably an older style
Yeah,
of
it is,
construction.
absolutely.
So the air and the mold thing wasn't a thing back then,
Yeah,
but now it's mandatory
Yeah,
that you have airflow.
okay.
And so in a bathroom, it's better off because generally that would be where your tub is.
Yeah,
So you're looking at getting water problems because of a
Yeah.
window.
but.
Yeah.
Better
Okay.
to not have a window and have the fan and the HVAC.
okay.
So the air in the unit is constantly flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, also, there'll be a big cooling component to all the units as well. That was one thing that we discussed with the building inspection department today, is that all units have to have some sort of cooling in them, so.
Wait, so is there,
We don't know how that's gonna go yet. That was a bit of a shock to hear that the building code changed in 2024 and that there has to be a cooling component to at least every home, so, we're gonna find that out. So, I don't know if it'll be an actual heat pump or it'll be some sort of air conditioned unit in some,
is there like a way to consult with the buyers on a preference for how that goes?
yeah, probably. This, again,
I would be careful about that because of AMCO's probably got their rules around.
I have to talk to AMCO first.
Yeah.
I have to talk to the Moduline first, because they actually might even have cooling units in them already. So I'll have to talk to them about that. But our idea is not to go with heat pumps, because they're noisy. So, So, but every house needs to have a cooling component as far as BC building code, so we'll figure that out
That's
and get back to
crazy.
everybody.
It never gets that hot here.
It did.
Maybe we can get away from it, I don't know, but I was just told by district staff that was a thing, so. They brought it in after the heat dome that happened in 2024, or 2023, so. Yeah, so we'll figure that out. So to say consultation with buyers is probably, I don't know. I learned this an hour ago, so, that's one thing that we're gonna have to figure out.
Were there any other surprises?
No, it was all good, so the biggest thing about also like deletion of bathroom windows is spatial separation because the units are so close, so, no, there was only actually good news, so. Cause we just, when we hear, cause you guys are, this is a pretty small town, right? So we hear from staff that hears from, or no, we hear from Judy that hears from the mayor, we hear from staff that, hey, you should check out spatial separation. Then we start to wonder, okay, well, why? So we've already done that calculation, so, where I think staff needed to not worry so much, cause we know we're on the right track. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So, just to be clear, you're not taking out another window right now?
No,
No,
Okay,
no,
that was done already,
That was
that's
done
why the
already.
floor plans changed.
yes,
right.
no, those calculations were done on the redraft, so. But again, because it's a small town and we hear, hey, check this, then we wonder, then we go and we triple check that, but no, that was all done at factory level. Yeah,
I have one last question, it's also for Judy, like for, I guess if modifications come up, it seems like there's a little bit of questions and unknowns coming up as the units arrive and maybe options for how the deck comes in or things like that. Who knows what the possibilities are? Is there like a communications plan that we could maybe establish so that all buyers are receiving the same information of all the same options?
well, I think what happened originally was AMCO said no. And then people started going directly to AMCO as far as, hey, can I do this, can I do that? So then we opened it up to allow other
Yeah,
things.
let
We
me-
were never trying to say no modifications at all, that was originally what they told us. So then, now it's wide open, so how, I
It's
think I spoke.
closed now.
It's closed now, because everyone's chosen everything, except for I think there's one buyer waiting for extras paid
Payment.
or not. Besides that, it's closed now, so modifications, no.
Yeah.
If it's a modification to add something that I have to add for BC building code, I have to do that. But as far as adding something, no, I think we're pretty far. past
Yeah, so it was, let me just jump in here. So initially, we were told, both Andrew and I were told, this is it, these are the choices, that's it, no changes.
Yeah.
Then some people got in touch directly, actually, one of the realtors out in Nanaimo
Yeah,
went directly to AMCO and said, well, we wanna do this and we wanna do that. And it was like, all of a sudden, there was some changes, and I'm like, whoa, 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 we were told no changes.
sure,
So then, AMCO came forward, and this has nothing to do with Andrew. The AMCO came forward and said, you can have these changes, tell us what you want, and we'll price it out for you, we'll send you an invoice, and you pay the invoice. Well, we've got one invoice that was, like, the dead in the water was March the 1st.
yeah,
To get all the payments in and everything,
Yeah.
because the manufacturer increased their prices on everything as of March the 1st. So then, we didn't have all the payments in, and there hadn't been enough time for everybody to do that, so AMCO got the manufacturer to agree to a drop dead date of last Friday,
Yeah.
14th? 14th. So the person that hasn't paid yet, we are on hold until Wednesday, well, today. And then if we don't get payment tomorrow, they're gonna cancel those, but they're taking a big risk on that particular unit because they don't think they can cancel them anymore.
yeah.
So that would end up on AMCO, not on Andrew.
Yeah. So we weren't trying to hide extras that people could do.
No.
We didn't actually know that they could exist.
Yeah, no.
The extras came as someone said, hey, I want this. AMCO, what's the price on that? And then that process took,
Oh, it was a nightmare.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
I couldn't even,
Everybody got great
it was,
stuff.
it was
I'm
easier
happy
for us
that.
when we just said no.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so I couldn't even tell you which unit gets this because there's, every single one is different. So-
Every single one.
And
is
almost
different.
every single person, I think there's over 60% said to some sort of an extra.
Yeah, no, the question's like not focused on the past, that's
Sure.
the past, but going forward, like there could be things that come up that maybe
No.
need to be communicated to the buyers in different ways, so I just wanna know that like going forward, everyone can be on the same page. I think it'll be easier for everyone.
Sure,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
What we're working on now is that after we get either, I'm not singling anybody out, but once we get full order, then we go into scheduling, then they start getting built, there's no changes. There's no additions or changes, it's.
Well, everything's already in now.
Yeah.
I've talked to Joel, the
So they have to
manufacturer,
schedule them for
everything,
production.
the manufacturer has everything
Yeah,
at the price that you paid.
yeah,
And the extras that people paid.
yeah,
They have that.
yeah.
And they had to have that by the 1st of March.
They
Some
did.
of them, they extended it to the 14th. But that's it. Like,
Yeah.
now they're gonna schedule them based on the information they're gonna get from Andrew.
Correct.
They're gonna schedule the construction of them.
Of
But
each
they're
individual.
ready to go
Yep,
But
right
to
now.
her point about like extras like the porch or the gutters, like those are different things that can change.
Just like a
and
big
can be
assumption.
communicated.
well, you need gutters. Yeah, no, yeah, but we're gonna get that, you want gutters.
No, like you just mentioned that
cooling
things, the
system.
building is done, that's fine,
Yeah.
but other things
Yeah.
are still gonna be added on.
Yeah, like potential for cooling and.
I shouldn't have even brought that up, and I love it. That's just something that every unit gets, no matter what.
But is it possible just to be like, have a heads up, like, oh, the cooling system is changing, like, just expect that this is what you're
Sure.
gonna get, the porch will be different, or just
Yeah.
expect this is happening, not that would have a choice in the matter, but it's just really nice to have a heads
Sure.
up to like not get to the
Aren't-
unit
aren't
and
the
then have those
porches-
surprises later on.
Sorry,
Porches are
aren't
done.
aren't the porches already on?
Yeah.
Yeah. They come from the manufacturer with the porches,
Yeah,
already
It's-
on.
Just more so as an example, if there's
Sure.
some kind of change like that.
if there's any change, you guys will be notified.
Yeah.
Yeah, right away.
We're too far down the road.
Right away, you're gonna notice.
And honestly, we're very, like I say we, but like I'm very grateful of everyone sticking out. I can't express that enough. I wish like you guys were in a house last year just as much as you do. Means I don't have to say the word you kill it to my wife again, which I love it here, but it has a different meaning now. But also, I'm so grateful that everyone's kind of stuck it out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the interest rates are coming down, buddy.
Oh, it's been great for everybody, yeah, including, I mean, like, you know, yeah, I mean, if we had you in a house last year, your payment would be, you know, significantly higher.
No, I meant you and the carrying.
No, we're locked in. But no, it's been good, so, yes, long way to answer your question, any changes, we'll know. Yeah, the only changes would be an upgrade that you won't have to pay.
When we find out about the cooling system, we'll let you know
Yeah,
right
and
away.
it could very well could be that it's a no, but that's also what I was just told. Yeah. So, but we'll work that out.
We
Good
should
to
have,
speak.
we only needed it for a couple days here.
I think it's incredible that, yeah, but anyway, it is what it is. Any other questions?
What's the heating system then? We're talking about cooling system, obviously everyone here is always cold, so
Sure.
how is it being, I thought, I don't know, it was
Your
a
electric
long time
furnaces.
ago, my memory's fuzzy, but I thought that they were all coming with heat pumps, or that there was.
They come with electric furnaces.
Electric furnaces?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll have to figure out the,
They're too small for heat pumps, aren't they?
yeah, so we're gonna have to work on something.
Heat pumps are super noisy, then our condo in Port Alberni, people have were putting them in on their decks without anybody knowing. Holy noisy.
Yeah, so we'll figure something out. They can't be they cannot be the in-window units either. So we're not gonna duct tape, they have to be, no, we can't, like, just know that we can't do that. We can't just duct tape a air conditioning unit to one of your windows. They have to be, yeah. If it was only so easy.
The
Yeah.
window is the cooling.
Sorry, I came in late, I'm just wondering if you could revisit like a conservative date of completion moving.
Yeah, it would be, I said early, talk to me after, we'll figure out your lot, and then we'll figure out the steps.
Okay, approximately, like,
For all of them to be
For all of
done
them.
then?
All said and done?
yeah,
The very last.
very last sale
Very
unit, that's all.
conservative.
Yeah.
Very, very, very conservative, September. Like,
Worst
hold a
case
gun to my
scenario.
head, worst case scenario, September. That's like, you're, yeah. I'm out here banging nails in August, kind of thing, so. But that's, again.
The last units.
That's the last units. The rentals need to be, as far as I'm concerned, if the rentals are happening after, we'll be setting down on the rentals by September, October. So that's our push. Yeah. It does happen really quickly once it happens. It just hasn't happened, so, yeah.
I have a question for, it's kind of more directed maybe for Sean. I'm wondering if there's any more information on the audit of the planning department, how that might affect our project going forward? And if there's, when the review is completed, I'm wondering if we're gonna have access to that information, if it's gonna be public, or when that might be completed.
That's a good question. It's not an audit technically. It's a review, which has much less teeth, I guess you might say. But that right now, I think, did you have an interview with?
Yeah.
You did. You probably did.
Yeah.
Brian.
I think that their interview process is done, because I know somebody else who wanted to do one.
Yeah.
And so now I think they have meetings in 2 weeks' time with district staff.
Yeah, I was the last interview,
Yeah.
and they said to me that if they referred to, and I said audit, and they said, well, it's not an audit. If we were doing an audit, we'd be looking at every file and reviewing every file that's gone through there for the last few years.
I wish they had.
So do I, but that's not how it works. And then they're gonna do, they did interview of people, and now they're gonna do interview of staff. And have you been interviewed yet?
No, I think we're the last
Council.
ones in the beginning of April, first week of April, second week of April. And so
Yeah.
it should be wrapped up by mid-April. I think we're totally done on that one,
Yeah.
as far as I know. So all the interviews have been done. How it will affect this project, I don't think it will affect this project. I think it is what it is. You've gone through
Too
it.
far down the line,
You've
yeah.
gone through it. But I'll guarantee you that, we're gonna look at like why things happened the way they did, and look at timelines and how the district pivots with new policies that come out from the province and things like that, and like how timing plays out, because I think in this case, this obviously weird things happen. I inherited this one as a council person. It was the previous council that did some of this stuff, so I still have to learn about it, but I think this will be a great kind of use case to see like what happened and why it happened, and go forward from there. And if there, I think we have to make sure there were no mistakes that were made, and if there were, that they don't happen again, kind of thing. But would that review affect anything going on here? I don't think so.
No, I think we're past that. We're past anything that would need change. I mean, there's certain approvals that we do need will come from more of a Ministry of Transportation approval for final subdivision, as well as, but that relies on us to have our geotechnical, our engineers and everybody submit a full package at the end of it, which again, Newcastle stays on board for that. And then building department says 6 to 8 weeks for building plans. So that we'll need, again, as long as we send in everything that's on the checklist, which modular homes do, yeah, so that we shouldn't be slowed up by any process.
No, I think if anything, it'll be speedier because of the delay that's happened so far, that, council is really pushing hard to get the approvals through faster than normal, like the engineering.
Yep.
For example, they said 2 to 3 weeks, and normally it's 6 to 8 weeks. So I think we'll see that with our building permits and our subdivision sign off. We're fortunate, we've got a contractor for the district, his name's Bob Wiley. He used to be the head dude for highways on Vancouver Island, and he's the approving officer for the district, and he's good and efficient, knows what the heck he's doing.
He's quick, yeah.
He's quick.
He's quick, which is good
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, no, Bob's great, he did my last one. Everyone knows Spruce Street? That's the street, the name of the street?
Oh,
Yeah. It had to be a tree, a plant, or an animal that is on the West Coast. They kicked out about 10 of my names.
So are each of the homes gonna have a different number, or are they gonna have their lot numbers?
They'll have a civic.
Addressing is left up to planning.
Yeah, they'll have a civic.
So still have a civic, yeah, they'll have a different civic. Spruce Street, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 Spruce Street or whatever, but yeah, we don't do addressing, we just submit names for.
We have to be number 7, no
It's gonna
matter
be a kitchen.
Got a big spruce tree right when you drive in on the left-hand side. That's why there's not more units. There's a spruce tree there instead. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Again, open lines of communication. I'm sorry, I try to keep everything very, kind of keep Judy apprised of what's going on, but also, no news is no news, and that's hard to give to people who want a home. So, again, sorry for all the delays on everything, we've owned that, and shouldn't be any delays moving forward, so.
If there are any delays moving forward resulting around.
I wanna know about it.
The planning department, we also wanna know, and we can email our mayor.
Sure.
She's very, very approachable.
Yeah.
And very nice, so
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
let us know.
And so Sean, he's good too.
Oh, yes,
So-
all, and our council.
Yeah, we'll make sure
Thank
it's,
you.
we'll definitely make sure it's priority, but yeah, if you see something going on, definitely let us know.
We usually don't know, but if Judy or Andrew, if you guys hear of anything, we're happy to send emails and,
Yeah.
We'll ask for your support, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So far, it's been, previous council messed up a couple of things that would have, brought this a little bit sooner. The tsunami report coming in was a council decision. I think they thought it was to any new subdivision, and we were considered, how it was worded was any new subdivision, they thought we were already approved, which, that's how it came across. That's why they voted it in, and that's why a year and a half later, that was the delay.
New council, way better. That's
You're
correct.
dropping like flies.
That's okay. It's too soon.
Sorry.
Yeah, we've had there's another development that we're trying to get with affordable housing on Monado Road, and that'll be 30.
I heard of the air one, yeah.
So that'll be 30 feet.
Yeah.
That has to be raised up. So
Oh
that
my
was just-
Wow.
And it was a complete nightmare, and it's similar to, I think, the situation you had in some ways with the AHOP program, where, there was the goalposts were sort of moved a bit there, we tried to figure out what was happening.
Sure.
I don't know the whole story there, but some of those things tend to happen in a vacuum, and when we tried to get, just like you're saying, to get the engineers to sign off, it was extremely difficult to do that. Like the coastal flood levels or the construction flood levels, the
Sure.
state fells, and then they wanted, we were told that we needed, or they were told that they needed an assurance, a flood assurance statement, like a letter written by someone in the
Yeah.
bottom. There is no one that does that, and there literally is no one that can do that. So it was a massive problem, and they had to take the person that you were talking about, I think, that actually did the tsunami flood levels for the district.
Yeah.
And he left that company, so he was able to do it because you're
Oh,
talking
good.
about conflict of
Yeah.
interest. So that guy ended up being the guy to write this. But it's an impossible situation because no one's ever done it, no one wants to do it, no one wants to sign off on it and put their name on it.
Yeah.
So it's this bizarre thing where they set a mandate or like a policy provincially, but no one can do it.
But no one can do it, no.
And you're in this catch-22, and I shouldn't compare that to the AHOP program, but sometimes when things are new, no one knows how to do them. And then, all of a sudden, you're in this catch-22 situation, and it's a total headache.
Well, I think the AHL program, how it's written is that, your income levels in UQLIT are, AHL cares about BC. So we say anybody under 80% of the median income in British Columbia can buy an AHL unit. What the district originally wanted through this was, what staff interpreted that was 80% of the median income of UQLIT residents, which means that we had about a $5,000 window from sale price to what people made for what they could actually afford to buy, given interest rates at the time, and what the cap level was. So we had that was at the 19th hour before we came to market last time. And that was crazy that was even a conversation, because the BC Housing AHOP program, as much as the District of UQLIT, you hear that they put in money to this development, the District of UQLIT put in a certain amount of money that basically takes your second mortgage money down from not having a second mortgage to having a 10% mortgage. So that 10% second mortgage is made up of district contributions and my reduction in price. So when a unit sells and you have to pay back your second mortgage, the district gets that back. So it's more of a loan than it's a contribution more than it is a handout to Andrew to make everything cheap. So that runs with the AHOP program. Now, AHOP is amazing because everyone has to come up with 10% less, which means if you have a 10% down payment, you don't have to pay CMHC insurance, which means your mortgage payment's even less again. So there's a lot of really beneficial things to the AHOP program, and yeah, there was a last minute almost, hey, we want to change this to stop pretty much 90% of people buying, and that was incredible. So, no, it's been a fight for a long time, so careful what I say.
6 years.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm around again, but yeah.
Thanks very much for being with us.
So of course, Norman will have, yeah, and again, there'll be a more open lines of communication as it goes. Yeah, I will look at that. Yeah.